Ever wondered if plants could have friends? Well, they do. Some plants can actually help each other grow. Intriguing, isn't it? Welcome to the secret world of companion planting. This ancient gardening technique has been practiced for centuries, and it's all about creating harmonious relationships between plants. Just like us, plants can thrive when they're in good company. Let's take a stroll down this leafy lane and discover the marvelous partnerships that exist in nature. Picture a garden where tomatoes and basil grow side by side, where carrots and onions share the same patch of soil. This is companion planting, a method that pairs plants together for mutual benefit. So what exactly makes these plant pairs so special? Well, companion planting encourages biodiversity. This means that your garden will be teeming with a variety of plants, each with its unique attributes. This variety not only adds beauty to your garden but also promotes a healthy ecosystem. But the benefits of companion planting don't stop at biodiversity. This method can also improve your garden's yield. By strategically pairing plants, you can boost their growth and productivity. For instance, when you plant basil next to tomatoes, the basil helps repel pests that could harm the tomatoes, while the tomatoes provide shade for the basil. It's a win-win situation. Moreover, companion planting aids in natural pest control. Some plants emit substances that repel pests, reducing the need for chemical pesticides. This organic approach to pest control is not only good for your plants but also for the environment. In essence, companion planting is about creating a thriving garden ecosystem. It's about understanding that plants, like people, can benefit from good company. Now that you have a brief understanding of this fascinating concept, dive in with us as we explore some amazing companion planting pairs. Trust us. Once you start companion planting, your garden will never be the same again. It's time to turn your garden into a flourishing oasis, all thanks to the magic of companion planting. In the world of plants, some pairs are just meant to be. Let's explore some of them. Imagine the classic pairing of tomatoes and basil. They're not just a match made in culinary heaven but also in the garden. Basil helps to repel insects and pests that often target tomatoes. It also improves the flavor and growth of the tomato plant. So, the next time you're planting tomatoes, remember to sprinkle some basil seeds around them. Another dynamic duo is carrots and onions. These two root vegetables might seem like they're competing for the same space, but they actually help each other out. The strong aroma of onions deters carrot flies, those pesky insects that can ruin your carrot harvest. Meanwhile, carrots help aerate the soil, making it easier for onion roots to spread out and take in nutrients. Then, there's the power trio of corn, beans, and squash, often referred to as the Three Sisters. This ancient method of companion planting was used by Native American tribes. The corn provides a natural trellis for the beans to climb. The beans enrich the soil with nitrogen for the corn, and the squash spreads along the ground, blocking the sunlight and preventing weeds from growing. Let's not forget about marigolds and almost any vegetable plant. Marigolds are the superheroes of the garden, protecting their companions from harmful nematodes and other pests. Their bright flowers also attract beneficial insects such as bees and ladybugs. And if you're planning to grow cabbages, pairing them with dill can be a great idea. Dill attracts wasps that control cabbage worms and other pests. Besides, its strong aroma confuses pests, keeping them away from your precious cabbages. Finally, consider the combination of strawberries and spinach. While strawberries spread out and cover the ground, spinach shoots up vertically. This vertical growth of spinach doesn't interfere with the strawberries, but instead provides them with a little bit of shade, which they love. But remember, while these pairs can help each other grow, they also need their space. Overcrowding can lead to competition for nutrients and water, which might affect their growth negatively. So, ensure you're giving your plants enough room to breathe and grow. These pairs show us how nature works in symbiosis, each benefiting the other. But it's not just about choosing the right pairs. The real secret lies in understanding how these pairings work, the natural checks and balances that exist in nature, and how we can use this knowledge to create a thriving, vibrant garden. It's about working with nature rather than against it. Planning plays a crucial role in companion planting, so how do you plan a perfect companion garden? In the world of companion planting, it's not about throwing seeds into the ground and hoping for the best. It's about creating a harmonious symphony of growth, where each plant plays its part to perfection. This orchestra of greenery requires a conductor, and that's where you come in. The first thing to consider is the size of your plants. Imagine you're setting up a room for a party. You wouldn't place a towering bookshelf next to a low coffee table, would you? The same principle applies to your garden. You want to make sure that your taller plants like corn or sunflowers don't overshadow your shorter plants like lettuce or radishes. Next, let's consider the growth rate. It's like inviting guests who arrive at the party at different times. Some plants, like radishes, are the early birds. They sprout quickly and are ready to harvest in just a few weeks. On the other hand, vegetables like tomatoes or peppers are the fashionably late ones, taking their sweet time to mature. By considering the growth rate, you can ensure everyone gets their moment in the sun. Now let's talk about nutritional needs. Plants, like people, have different dietary requirements. Some plants, like beans, are like the vegetarians at your party, enriching the soil with nitrogen. Others, like corn, are the heavy eaters, requiring lots of nitrogen to grow. By pairing these plants, you can make sure everyone at your garden party is well fed and happy. But what about the party crashers? Yes, I'm talking about pests. Some plants, like marigolds or garlic, are known to repel certain pests. Incorporating these into your garden plan can help keep your plants pest-free. Finally, remember that planting a companion garden is not an exact science. It's more like an art form, requiring observation, experimentation, and sometimes a little bit of luck. With the right planning, your companion garden can thrive. But remember, the key is to experiment and observe. You've got your pairings in plan, but how do you ensure maximum yield and health? The journey doesn't stop at simply knowing which plants to grow together. There's a science to ensuring that your garden thrives and produces a bountiful harvest. Let's delve into some practices that can help you maximize the yield and health of your garden ecosystem. Firstly, let's talk about watering. Different plants have different watering needs, and overwatering can be just as harmful as underwatering. It's important to understand the water requirements of each plant in your companion garden. Certain plant pairs can help each other out in this regard. For instance, a squash plant's large leaves provide shade to the soil, reducing evaporation and helping its companion, the corn, to stay hydrated. Now, on to fertilization. Plants need nutrients to grow, and some plants are especially good at pulling certain nutrients from the soil. By pairing these nutrient-rich plants with others that need those specific nutrients, you can create a natural, sustainable fertilization system. Think of it as a potluck dinner, where every plant brings something to the table. Lastly, let's discuss crop rotation. This is a practice that can help prevent the depletion of nutrients in the soil, and also reduce the risk of plant diseases. By changing the location of your plants each growing season, you can ensure that the same type of plant isn't continuously drawing the same nutrients from the soil. It's like giving your garden a fresh start every year. But remember, companion planting isn't just about the plants. It's also about creating a balanced ecosystem. Attracting beneficial insects and birds to your garden can help control pests and pollinate flowers, and adding a compost heap can recycle plant waste into rich, nutritious soil. Companion planting is not just an ancient practice, it's a secret to a thriving, fulfilling garden. It's about working with nature, not against it. And when done right, the rewards can be truly bountiful. So are you ready to maximize the potential of your garden? You now have the knowledge to turn your garden into a flourishing oasis. We've journeyed through the secret world of companion planting, discovered the perfect pairs, and learned how to plan a companion garden. We've seen how the ancient art of companion planting can maximize yield and health, creating a vibrant, thriving ecosystem right in your backyard. Remember, tomatoes love basil, carrots covet onions, and corn, beans, and squash form the timeless trio known as the Three Sisters. These are just a few examples of the symbiotic relationships between plants that we can harness for our benefit. With companion planting, we're not just cultivating plants, we're nurturing relationships, fostering biodiversity, and paving the way for a more sustainable future. So, what are you waiting for? Start experimenting with these techniques in your garden. Share your experiences or questions in the comments below. Let's create a thriving community of companion planting enthusiasts together.